Port of Hamilton is soon going to be home to Canada's largest sugar processing plant. The president and CEO of Hamilton Oshawa Port Authority in Hamilton, Ian Hamilton, joins us now, along with the founder and CEO of SucroCan Sourcing, Jonathan Taylor. And Jonathan, I'm going to start with you. So SucroCan already has a presence in Hamilton.
Correct.
Why expand here for the largest sugar refinery?
That's a good question, Annette. You know, it's first of all, we have a great partner. Ian and HOPA have been great supporters of Sucro. And, you know, second of all, we have the infrastructure, we have water, we have great rail access, we have, you know, very close proximity to the U.S. The part of the strategy is exports. So that's very important to us. So checks a lot of boxes.
Okay, and how big is this plant going to be when it opens up next year?
Capacity is about 4,000 tons a day. So, just to understand what that means, it's about a vessel every week.
A shipping vessel every week.
Yes.
Wow.
That's the capacity. And again, it's what's available to produce in terms of processing capacity. What we're targeting is growth over the next 10, 20 years. The Canadian market today barely has enough capacity to supply its current demand, and much less export opportunities. And this is going to be about capturing future growth in Canada, and more importantly, export opportunities into the U.S.
Okay, and where does that sugar come from?
All over the world, Brazil primarily,
okay.
Central America.
So sent here and processed here then.
Correct.
And Ian, we were talking earlier, this really kind of shifts what's happening at the port. You think of it as very industrial, as steel, but there's so much more going in and out of that Port of Hamilton.
Yeah, you're exactly right. 10 years ago, really, we were the steel port, and the port was established over 100 years ago to support the steel industry, and steel's still hugely important to us. But we've really focused on diversifying the cargoes we move, and the big area was into agriculture. So over the last decade, we've invested, along with our partners and along with Sucro's investment now, over $500 million into developing agri businesses. A lot of it is the local crops being exported, but now we're seeing the importing, the processing for both sugar and flour, which is absolutely fantastic.
Okay, and lots of grains too coming in.
Yeah, so we're about 80% of all the grain that's exported from Ontario comes through the Hamilton Oshawa Port Authority.
Okay, and now a lot of sugar.
And now a lot of sugar will be coming in.
Yeah,
so.
and where is the sugar going to? Like we were talking earlier as well, because the food processing industry in Ontario is booming.
Yeah, I'll let Jonathan answer that.
Yeah.
One of the exciting things, of course, is the United States.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of food manufacturers that are making products here going to the U.S. Also, the market in Canada is growing. So, you know, for Canada, that's the primary place where the sugar is going. And as I said before, you know, the export part is a big part of it as well.
Right, right. So do you think this is going to spur more agricultural or food processing in refineries or spots on the port?
Well, the exciting thing, and we've always positioned ourselves as being a multimodal hub, so having rail, having marine, having the right truck connections, but
a connection to the airport as well.
Connection to the airport as well, and I think that'll be driven by container flows and things like that. But I think really what we're really excited about is the fact that the product is being processed on the property as well, not just coming in and leaving, but there's actually value being added to it. And we see as, again, industrial hubs, and I think this is where ports all through the country, and certainly in Hamilton, can really play a valuable role in our economic development. So.
Right. Because, Jonathan, we should mention that Sucro already has a plant in Hamilton, but it's a much smaller one.
Correct. It's a fraction of the capacity of the new one. It's been at full capacity, like I mentioned before. The Canadian market has barely kept up with its own demand, and that's what we're shooting for, is to capture that demand that's coming into the market in the next 10, 20 years.
We have about 30 seconds left, but jobs. How many more jobs do you think you'll add?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely more jobs being added. I mean, I think we estimated, 50 to 75 additional jobs.
Okay.
Direct jobs, and then there's a lot of movement going on, right? So that's where it gets interesting. 1 million tons is a lot of sugar to move, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
There'll be a lot of
It'll smell
jobs.
sweet at the harbor, right?
yeah, for sure.
Jonathan and Ian, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We will take a quick break, and we're back on the couch with Chit Chat right after this.